Listen to me carefully. 2026 is not the year you chase people who don't choose you. It is not the year you beg for attention, explain your worth, or shrink yourself to fit into someone else's comfort zone. 2026 is the year you turn inward and rise. You've spent enough nights wondering why they changed, enough mornings checking your phone, hoping for a message that never came, enough energy proving loyalty to people who treated you like an option. And here's the truth no one told you loud enough. Some people leave not because you weren't enough, but because you were becoming too much for their limited vision. So let them go, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with power, with peace, with purpose. Because when you finally focus on yourself, something magical happens. You stop chasing approval and you start attracting alignment. 2026 demands a different version of you, a version that wakes up hungry for growth, not validation, a version that understands that self-respect is louder than any argument, a version that knows silence is sometimes the strongest answer. You don't need to announce your exit. You don't need closure from people who never gave you clarity. You don't need permission to evolve. Let them misunderstand you. Let them doubt you. Let them watch from a distance. Because while they're busy discussing you, you'll be busy building yourself. Focus on your goals, your healing, your confidence, your craft, your financial freedom, your mental peace. And one day, sooner than you think, they will look at you and realize they lost access to someone priceless. Not because you screamed, not because you chased, but because you walked away and leveled up. 2026 is your glow up year, your self-love year, your I choose me year. So take a deep breath, release what no longer serves you, and step forward unapologetically. Because the moment you focus on yourself, life starts focusing back on you. Stop chasing, and for a moment just pause. Look at how much of your life has been spent running behind people, expectations, approval, timelines that were never yours to begin with. Think about the countless times you waited for a call that didn't come, replied instantly to messages that deserved no urgency, adjusted your schedule, your dreams, even your personality, just to stay relevant in someone else's life. That is not love, that is not ambition, that is not loyalty, that is self-abandonment. Choosing yourself begins the day you realize that your worth does not increase because someone finally notices you. Your value was never on discount. In daily life, this looks like the moment you stop overworking just to be praised by a boss who only remembers you when something goes wrong. It's the day you stop saying yes to extra responsibilities that steal your peace while someone else takes the credit. Choosing yourself means understanding that exhaustion is not a badge of honor and rest is not laziness. It is power to know when to step back and say, I deserve balance. We chase in relationships too. We chase attention, affection, consistency, respect, as if these are rewards we must earn by sacrificing our dignity. Think about the times you ignored red flags because you were afraid of being alone. The times you stayed quiet when you should have spoken up just to keep someone comfortable. Choosing yourself is the moment you realize that love should not feel like a constant audition. If someone makes you feel small, confused, or anxious more often than secure, calm, and inspired, then walking away is not a loss. It is a promotion. In friendships, choosing yourself looks like outgrowing conversations that revolve around gossip, comparison, and negativity. It's the courage to distance yourself from people who only show up when they need something, but disappear when you need support. You don't need a crowd to feel validated. One honest connection is worth more than a room full of people who don't clap when you win. When you stop chasing people who don't see your value, you make space for those who will never make you question it. Everyday life teaches you this lesson in small moments. When you stop checking your phone first thing in the morning and instead check in with your goals. When you stop comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel and start focusing on your own progress. When you choose to invest time in learning a new skill instead of replaying old conversations in your head, that is choosing yourself. Growth happens quietly, but its results are loud. Choosing yourself also means setting boundaries, and boundaries are not walls, they are doors with locks. Not everyone deserves access to your energy, your time, your emotions. In daily life, this could be as simple as saying no without guilt, no to plans that drain you, no to conversations that disrespect you, no to people who cross the same line again and again and call it a mistake. You don't need to explain your boundaries to those who benefit from you having none. At work, at home, in society, we are taught to chase milestones, titles, marriage, validation, success on someone else's timeline. Choosing yourself means redefining success on your own terms. It's waking up and asking, am I proud of the person I am becoming? Not am I impressing everyone else? It's understanding that progress is not always visible, but consistency always pays. You don't need to announce your plans. Let your results introduce you. There is a powerful shift that happens when you stop chasing and start choosing. Your energy changes. Your confidence deepens. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop begging for space and start owning it. People notice not because you demanded attention, but because self-respect is magnetic. The world treats you differently when you decide you are not an option. Choosing yourself in daily life also means forgiving yourself for past versions that didn't know better. For the times you chased what hurt you because you thought that was love. For the times you stayed too long or left too late. Growth is not about regret, it's about awareness. The strongest people are not those who never fall, but those who rise with wisdom and grace. When you choose yourself, you don't become selfish, you become selective. You stop pouring from an empty cup. You stop shrinking your dreams to make others comfortable. You stop explaining your ambition to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. And slowly, without force, without noise, you build a life that feels aligned. The moment you stop chasing external validation, you start attracting internal peace. The moment you choose yourself, you teach the world how to treat you. The moment you honor your worth, everything that no longer belongs begins to fall away. Letting go is not what weak people do when they are tired of trying. Letting go is what strong people do when they finally understand their worth. Strength is not holding on with bleeding hands. Strength is knowing when to release what is breaking you. In daily life, this truth shows up quietly. It appears when you walk away from a job that pays you well but drains your soul every single day. People may call you foolish for leaving security behind, but they don't see the courage it takes to choose peace over paycheck, sanity over status, growth over comfort. Weakness is staying where you are slowly dying just because it looks safe from the outside. Letting go is strength in relationships too. It is strength when you stop calling someone who only answers when it is convenient. It is strength when you stop explaining your pain to someone who keeps repeating the same behavior. Think about how hard it is to detach from someone you love deeply, someone you imagined a future with. Walking away from that dream feels like failure, but staying in a place where you are not respected is the real defeat. Strength is waking up one day and saying, I would rather miss you than lose myself. In families, letting go often looks misunderstood. It might mean emotionally distancing yourself from relatives who constantly criticize, compare, or control you. Society teaches us to tolerate everything in the name of blood, but strength is realizing that love should not come with humiliation. Choosing peace over constant conflict is not disrespect, it is self-preservation. It takes courage to break cycles that generations normalized. Weakness follows patterns blindly, strength questions them. Letting go is strength when you release guilt. Guilt for not being perfect, guilt for choosing yourself, guilt for saying no. In daily life, this might look like a woman who stops apologizing for having ambition, or a man who stops feeling ashamed for prioritizing his mental health. You were not born to carry everyone else's expectations on your back. Strength is understanding that you are allowed to evolve, even if it disappoints people who benefited from you staying the same. There is strength in letting go of old versions of yourself, the version that tolerated disrespect because it feared loneliness, the version that stayed silent to keep the peace, the version that chased validation instead of purpose. Growth demands release. In everyday moments, this could be as simple as no longer laughing at jokes that insult you, no longer pretending you are okay when you are not, no longer shrinking your voice in rooms where you deserve to be heard. Weakness clings to familiarity, strength chooses transformation. Letting go is also strength in failure. When something doesn't work out, a business idea, a career path, a dream you worked toward for years, it hurts deeply, but strength is knowing when to pivot. Instead of punishing yourself for not fitting into a path that no longer aligns with who you are becoming. In daily life, strength is closing a chapter without burning the book. It is learning the lesson and carrying the wisdom forward. Social life offers constant tests of this strength. Letting go of friendships that no longer resonate is painful. You share history, memories, laughter, but strength is recognizing when growth has created distance, not betrayal. Holding on out of nostalgia keeps you stuck in the past. Releasing with gratitude allows you to move forward lighter. Weakness fears emptiness. Strength trusts that space will be filled with something better. Letting go of comparison is another act of quiet strength. Every day people measure their lives against curated images and timelines. Strength is choosing not to compete in races you never signed up for. Strength is focusing on your lane, your pace, your purpose. In daily life, this means celebrating others without diminishing yourself and working on your goals without announcing them for validation. Peace comes when you stop chasing someone else's version of success. There is immense strength in letting go of anger. Holding on to resentment feels powerful, but it slowly poisons you. Forgiveness does not In excusing what hurt you, it means refusing to let it control you. In everyday life, strength is responding calmly where you once reacted emotionally. It is choosing clarity over chaos, healing over revenge. Weakness stays stuck in the moment of hurt. Strength moves beyond it. Letting go is strength when you trust timing. When doors close, when plans collapse, when life redirects you without explanation. Strength is believing that not everything lost is a loss. In daily moments, this looks like patience instead of panic, faith instead of force. You stop begging life to work a certain way and start cooperating with its lessons. Strength is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need applause. Strength is the silent decision to choose yourself again and again, even when it hurts, even when it's lonely, even when no one understands. Letting go is not the end of the story. It is the moment you stop fighting reality and start aligning with your truth. Silence is a power move because it takes control away from chaos and hands it back to self-respect. In a world that constantly demands explanations, reactions, and instant responses, choosing silence is choosing mastery over your emotions. Think about daily arguments where people try to pull you into drama. The loudest person in the room often feels the weakest inside. The one who pauses, breathes, and refuses to react immediately holds the real authority. Silence says, I am not ruled by impulse. I decide when and how I respond. In relationships, silence becomes powerful when words have been wasted. There comes a moment when repeating your feelings turns into self-disrespect. You've explained, you've clarified, you've cried, you've compromised, and still nothing changes. Silence is not giving up. It is stepping back and allowing reality to speak. In daily life, this looks like not chasing someone after they ignore you, not double texting when your message goes unanswered, not asking why your value wasn't seen. Silence lets people feel the absence of your presence, and absence teaches lessons words never could. At work, silence can protect your dignity. When someone undermines you, takes credit for your ideas, or tests your patience, reacting emotionally often costs more than it gains. Silence, paired with strategic action, builds authority. You stop arguing and start documenting. You stop complaining and start improving your skills. In everyday professional life, silence is staying focused while others gossip, letting your results speak when others try to provoke you. Loud reactions fade quickly, quiet excellence lasts. Silence is also a power move in self-growth. There is strength in not announcing your plans to everyone. When you move quietly, distractions reduce and discipline increases. In daily routines, this means working on your goals without seeking applause, healing without narrating every pain, upgrading your life without posting every step. Silence protects your vision from unnecessary opinions. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your transformation. In family dynamics, silence can be the most respectful form of self-defense. When conversations turn into criticism, comparison, or emotional manipulation, silence becomes a boundary. Instead of arguing with elders who refuse to understand you, silence allows you to preserve peace without losing yourself. In daily life, this might look like choosing not to react to hurtful comments, not engaging in endless justification, not trying to prove your worth to those committed to misunderstanding you. Silence is not submission, it is wisdom. Silence has immense power over the ego. When someone expects a reaction and receives none, it unsettles them. Not because you are playing games, but because calm exposes insecurity. In everyday situations, this is seen when you stop responding to disrespect, stop defending yourself against false narratives, stop lowering your tone to match someone else's chaos. Silence communicates confidence. It says, I don't need to convince you, I know who I am. Silence also heals. Constant talking about pain can sometimes reopen wounds instead of closing them. There are moments in daily life when sitting alone, reflecting and listening inward does more than any conversation. Silence gives clarity. It allows emotions to settle, truths to rise, and decisions to become firm. The strongest decisions are often made in silence, away from noise and influence. In social situations, silence separates leaders from followers. People who speak less but observe more often understand deeper. They choose words carefully because they know words carry weight. In daily gatherings, this might be the person who listens while others talk, who doesn't interrupt to impress, who speaks only when something meaningful needs to be said. Silence sharpens perception, and perception creates power. Silence is a power move when you are misunderstood. Explaining yourself repeatedly to people who have already decided their version of you is exhausting. In daily life, silence frees you from defending your character. You let consistency correct false opinions. Over time, truth rises without shouting. Weakness seeks validation. Strength trusts time. Silence teaches discipline. It trains you to pause before reacting, to choose calm over chaos. In everyday moments, this looks like taking a breath before responding to an insult, stepping away instead of escalating an argument, choosing peace over proving a point. The ability to remain silent when provoked is not weakness. It is emotional intelligence at its highest level. Silence is powerful because it aligns you with yourself, and the noise fades. You hear your intuition clearly. You stop seeking direction from the outside and start trusting your inner voice. In daily life, this means fewer regrets, clearer boundaries, and stronger decisions. Silence does not mean you have nothing to say. It means you know when words are unnecessary. Your evolution will trigger some people not because you are doing something wrong, but because you are doing something brave. Growth has a way of disturbing those who are comfortable with stagnation. The moment you start choosing better for yourself, some people will feel exposed, threatened, or left behind. In daily life, this appears when you decide to wake up earlier to work on your goals and suddenly you're told you've changed. What they really mean is you stopped living by their rhythm and started honoring your own. When you evolve, your priorities shift, and that shift unsettles people who benefited from your old version. The friend who loved you when you were always available feels uncomfortable when you start saying no. The coworker who enjoyed your self-doubt feels uneasy when you begin speaking with confidence. In everyday moments, this looks like subtle sarcasm, passive comments, or jokes disguised as concern. Your growth reminds them of the work they are avoiding, and that reflection can feel painful. In relationships, evolution can feel like betrayal to those who expected you to stay the same. When you heal, you stop tolerating inconsistency, disrespect, and emotional confusion. The person who once had easy access to you now has to meet a higher standard. Instead of rising to that standard, they may accuse you of being difficult, cold, or selfish. In reality, you are no longer willing to negotiate your self-respect. Growth doesn't destroy relationships. It reveals which ones were built on convenience instead of mutual respect. Your evolution will also trigger family dynamics. Families often assign roles: the responsible one, the silent one, the one who sacrifices. When you step out of that role, resistance follows. In daily life, this may sound like guilt-tripping or reminders of who you used to be. Choosing your own path can be mistaken for rebellion, but it is actually alignment. Breaking generational patterns requires courage because comfort zones feel safer than change, even when they are unhealthy. At work, your evolution is seen when you stop overworking for validation and start working with intention. When you stop accepting less than you deserve, when you ask for growth opportunities, when you carry yourself with assurance. Some colleagues may feel intimidated. They may downplay your achievements or question your confidence. This is not because you are arrogant, but because your self-belief challenges their limitations. Growth forces comparison, and comparison creates discomfort. Your evolution will trigger people socially as well. When you stop engaging in gossip, drama, or constant negativity, some will feel judged by your silence. When you choose peace over chaos, discipline over distraction, purpose over popularity, your presence alone becomes confronting. In everyday gatherings, you may notice fewer invitations, colder responses, or distance. This is not rejection, it is redirection. Not everyone can walk with you into the next version of your life. Even your success can trigger those who once felt superior to you. When you rise quietly, without noise or arrogance, it confuses people who expected you to stay small. In daily life, this might show up as people questioning your journey, minimizing your effort, or attributing your progress to luck. They don't see the nights you stayed focused, the sacrifices you made, the discipline you built. Your growth breaks the narrative they had about why. Oh, and that disruption is uncomfortable. Your evolution will also trigger people internally within yourself. Old fears will surface. Doubts will whisper that you are doing too much or asking for too much. Growth requires leaving familiar pain for unfamiliar possibility. In everyday moments, this might look like resisting old habits, choosing healthier routines, or walking away from what once felt safe. Evolution is uncomfortable because it demands responsibility for the life you are creating. There is a quiet power in continuing to grow despite resistance. You don't need to argue, convince, or explain. In daily life, strength looks like staying consistent while others question you, staying kind while others misunderstand you, staying focused while others project. Growth doesn't need permission, it only needs commitment. Your evolution will trigger some people because it highlights what is possible. It shows that change is available, that limits are optional, that courage exists. Not everyone is ready to face that truth. Some will cheer you on, others will fall silent, and some will walk away. None of that should stop you. Growth is not meant to be comfortable for everyone around you. It is meant to be honest for you. When you choose to evolve, you choose alignment over approval, you choose becoming over belonging, you choose truth over comfort, and in doing so, you accept that not everyone will understand your journey. That is not your burden to carry. Your responsibility is to keep becoming the person you know you are capable of being. Even when your growth makes others uneasy, focus creates confidence, because when your attention stops scattering, your power starts concentrating. Most people don't lack talent, intelligence, or potential. They lack direction. They wake up reacting instead of deciding. They scroll before they think. They listen to noise before they listen to themselves. Confidence doesn't come from loud affirmations or pretending to be fearless. It is born quietly when you choose one thing and give it your full presence. The mind becomes calm when it knows where it's going. In daily life, focus looks like finishing what you start. Think about the confidence that comes when you complete a task instead of abandoning it halfway. Even something small like committing to a morning routine for 30 days changes how you carry yourself. You walk differently when you keep promises to yourself. The voice inside you begins to trust you again. That trust becomes confidence. Distraction breaks self-trust. Focus rebuilds it. At work, focus separates those who doubt themselves from those who command respect. When you stop multitasking and start mastering, your skills sharpen. You no longer feel the need to compare yourself because you are too busy improving. In everyday professional life, this means deeply learning your craft instead of chasing quick recognition. It means preparing when others procrastinate, listening when others talk, refining when others rush. Confidence grows when competence grows, and competence grows where focus lives. In relationships, focus creates confidence by clarifying your standards. When your attention is scattered between people, mixed signals, and emotional confusion, insecurity grows. But when you focus on how you want to feel rather than who you want to impress, your choices become stronger. In daily life, this looks like not entertaining inconsistency, not replaying conversations in your head, not seeking reassurance from people who can't give stability. Focus on your values brings confidence in your decisions. Focus also transforms self-image. When you obsess over how others see you, confidence stays fragile. When you focus on progress instead of perfection, self-belief becomes solid. In daily routines, this could be choosing movement over excuses, learning over complaining, discipline over motivation. Each focused action sends a message to your subconscious, I am capable. Confidence is not built in grand moments, it is built in repeated focused effort. In learning and growth, focus creates momentum. When you dedicate yourself to one skill, one goal, one vision, improvement becomes visible. In daily life, this might mean turning off notifications to study, practicing a craft even when no one is watching, saying no to distractions that steal your future. As your ability improves, doubt fades naturally. You stop wondering if you are enough because you can see evidence of your growth. Focus strengthens emotional confidence too. When you stop giving attention to negativity, gossip, and unnecessary drama, your emotional state stabilizes. In everyday situations, this means not reacting to every opinion, not absorbing every criticism, not internalizing every mood around you. Focus teaches emotional discipline. You become confident not because life becomes easy, but because you become steady. Social confidence also rises with focus. When you know who you are and what you are building, you don't feel pressure to impress. You speak with clarity because your thoughts are clear. In daily interactions, this looks like listening without insecurity, speaking without rushing, and walking away without resentment. Focused people don't beg for attention, they naturally attract respect. Focus even changes how you handle failure. When your attention is on learning rather than ego, mistakes don't destroy your confidence, they refine it. In daily life, this could be missing an opportunity, failing an exam, or making a wrong decision. Focus helps you ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of what is wrong with me? That shift builds unshakable confidence. When you focus, you stop chasing too many paths and start walking one with conviction. You stop doubting every step because you are no longer lost. Confidence grows when your energy stops leaking into places that don't serve you. The more focused you become, the less external validation you need. Your certainty comes from clarity, not applause. Focus creates confidence because it aligns your mind, actions, and values in one direction. When your thoughts match your effort and your effort matches your intention, inner conflict disappears. And when there is no inner conflict, confidence becomes your natural state. Closure does not come from a final conversation, a perfect apology, or an explanation that finally makes sense. Closure comes from self-respect. From the moment you decide that your peace matters more than answers that may never arrive. In daily life, this truth shows up when you stop waiting for someone to admit they were wrong before you allow yourself to move forward. Waiting for closure from another person keeps your healing in their hands. Choosing self-respect takes that power back. Many people stay emotionally stuck because they believe one more message, one more meeting, or one more explanation will finally free them. But self-respect asks a different question. How many times must I reopen this wound before I realize it doesn't need more words, it needs distance? In everyday situations, this looks like resisting the urge to check their social media, to replay old conversations, to mentally argue with someone who is no longer present. Closure begins the moment you stop chasing clarity from those who gave you confusion. In relationships, self-respect becomes closure when you accept what was shown to you instead of clinging to what was promised. People often say, I just need to understand why, but the behavior itself is the answer. In daily life, closure is choosing not to confront someone who already disrespected you, choosing not to demand loyalty from someone who repeatedly broke trust. Self-respect understands that explanations don't heal patterns, boundaries do. At work, closure through self-respect might mean leaving a toxic environment without waiting for recognition that will never come. It is realizing that no job title is worth daily humiliation, anxiety, or burnout. In everyday professional life, closure is walking away without bitterness, knowing that your skills and values deserve better alignment. You don't need an exit interview to validate your experience when your well-being already tells the truth. Family situations often make closure difficult because emotions run deep and expectations run deeper. Self-respect becomes closure when you stop trying to earn love through sacrifice. In daily life, this may look like emotionally distancing yourself from constant criticism, refusing to engage in guilt-driven conversations, or letting go of the fantasy that one day they will change. Closure does not mean cutting people off with anger. It means accepting who they are and choosing how close they get to you. Friendships also require self-respect-based closure. Outgrowing people can feel disloyal, but staying where you are not valued is more damaging. In everyday life, closure looks like gradually stepping back from friendships that thrive on negativity, competition, or convenience. You don't need a dramatic ending or a long explanation. Self-respect understands that not every chapter needs a conversation. Some need quiet acceptance. Self-respect creates closure when you stop blaming yourself for what someone else failed to give. Many people internalize rejection, asking what they could have done differently. In daily moments, closure is reminded. Gee yourself that someone's inability to show up is not a reflection of your worth. Self-respect replaces self-doubt with self-trust. It allows you to forgive yourself for staying too long, for hoping too hard, for loving deeply. There is powerful closure in choosing not to react. When someone expects you to chase, to argue, to demand answers, silence becomes self-respect. In everyday situations, this might mean not responding to a message that reopens old wounds, not engaging in conversations that invalidate your experience, not defending yourself against narratives that are not yours to correct. Closure comes when you realize that protecting your energy is more important than proving your point. Self-respect also means letting go of the version of the story where you are validated by everyone. Closure is accepting that some people will never understand your perspective, and that is okay. In daily life, this looks like moving forward without carrying resentment, trusting that your truth doesn't need universal agreement. Peace arrives when you stop needing others to agree with your decision in order to honor it. Closure comes from self-respect because self-respect draws a line and says, this is where I stop. It stops the endless loop of hope and disappointment. It stops the habit of explaining your pain to those who don't listen. It stops the cycle of reopening wounds just to feel something familiar. When you choose self-respect, you choose finality without bitterness, acceptance without surrender, and freedom without permission. The deepest closure is internal. It happens when you look at your past with honesty instead of longing, with compassion instead of regret. Self-respect allows you to close doors gently but firmly, knowing that what lies ahead deserves a version of you that is no longer waiting for answers from behind. 2026 is about alignment, not attack me. Because life moves forward whether you hold on or let go. So many people spend their days clinging to people, places, and things that no longer serve them, thinking that loyalty or love means never releasing. But alignment is about moving with purpose and intention, not about clinging to comfort zones or familiar pain. In daily life, this begins when you stop trying to force relationships that are misaligned with your growth. It is realizing that some people are meant to walk beside you for a season, not a lifetime, and letting go is not betrayal, it is wisdom. Attachment often looks like fear disguised as love. You stay in jobs that crush your creativity because you are afraid to start over. You stay in relationships that drain your soul because you are afraid of being alone. You keep old habits that limit your potential because you fear change. Alignment, on the other hand, is about asking, does this move me toward the life I want to live? In everyday moments, it is choosing challenges that stretch you, not comfort that confines you, and choosing people who celebrate your evolution instead of questioning it. In friendships, attachment can feel like obligation. We often hold on to connections out of habit or guilt. We text, call, and check in because we think that's what we should do, not because it feeds our spirit. Alignment asks, does this friendship energize me, inspire me, elevate me? In daily life, alignment is noticing which friends make you feel lighter, which conversations spark growth, which presence leaves you smiling instead of exhausted. Letting go of friendships that no longer align is not cold, it is clarity. At work, attachment can appear as stubbornness. Holding on to a position, a routine, or a project just because you invested time can trap you in stagnation. Alignment asks, am I in a space that allows me to shine, learn, and grow? In everyday life, alignment might mean shifting careers, seeking a mentor, or pursuing a new skill. It requires courage to release the familiar and embrace the possibility that better opportunities exist. Those who cling to attachment often miss doors that are already open. Romantic relationships are the arena where alignment versus attachment becomes most visible. Attachment keeps you staying, hoping, negotiating, forgiving repeatedly for the sake of familiarity. Alignment challenges you to ask, does this love lift me, respect me, and match my vision for life? In daily experiences, alignment is choosing boundaries, choosing self-worth, choosing to leave when behavior patterns no longer match your standards. Attachment keeps you stuck in cycles. Alignment propels you forward toward mutual respect and genuine connection. Even in self-development, attachment can trap us in old versions of ourselves. We cling to habits, excuses, or identities that no longer serve our growth. In daily life, this looks like insisting you are not the type for change, repeating negative self-talk, or refusing to step outside routines that have kept you comfortable but limited. Alignment, however, is choosing new habits, adopting empowering beliefs, and stepping into a version of yourself that matches the life you desire. Growth requires letting go of who you were to become who you are meant to be. Financially, attachment often manifests as clinging to money spent poorly, debts, or security that restricts risk-taking. Alignment asks, does this investment, job, or financial decision move me closer to freedom or deeper into fear? In everyday life, it can mean creating budgets aligned with long-term goals, taking calculated risks to build assets, or walking away from unproductive financial patterns. Attachment is comfort, alignment is strategy. Those who align thrive, while attachment keep. People trapped in cycles of regret. Attachment also appears in emotional baggage. Holding on to resentment, grudges, and past hurt ties you to people and situations that are no longer present. Alignment asks, does holding on to this anger serve me or stunt me? In daily life, it could mean forgiving, not for them, but for yourself. It could mean choosing peace over pain, release over retaliation, and growth over grievance. Attachment prolongs suffering. Alignment accelerates healing. Alignment is a choice every morning. It is in the decisions we make about how we spend our time, who we allow into our energy, and what standards we enforce for ourselves. In daily life, it looks like saying no without guilt, stepping away without fear, and focusing on what resonates with your purpose. Attachment whispers, don't leave, don't change, don't risk. Alignment responds, I honor myself, my journey, and my vision. When your life is aligned, you move with intention, clarity, and peace. Every step becomes a reflection of your values. Every choice becomes an act of self-love. Alignment empowers you to let go of people, situations, and patterns that are no longer serving your highest good. It teaches that loyalty to yourself is the foundation for every success, happiness, and connection. Those who understand this do not fear change, they embrace it as the vehicle for transformation. Alignment requires courage because it often looks like letting go. Letting go triggers discomfort, uncertainty, and sometimes even loneliness. Yet the strongest people are those who choose alignment over attachment, progress over stagnation, and self-respect over approval. Every action becomes intentional, every relationship becomes conscious, and every day becomes a step closer to the life you are meant to live. Even small daily decisions matter. Saying no to distractions, choosing growth over gossip, leaving unhealthy interactions, committing to your goals, these are all alignment in motion. Attachment keeps you tethered to outcomes, people, or timelines that no longer serve you. Alignment allows you to flow with life's rhythm while staying rooted in your purpose. It is the difference between surviving and thriving. 2026 is the year to focus on alignment, to release what no longer fits, to honor your evolution, to commit to the people, places, and patterns that reflect your highest self. Attachment will always tempt you to stay small, comfortable, or familiar, but alignment demands bravery, clarity, and unwavering self-respect. In daily life, it is the silent discipline of choosing what lifts you and discarding what holds you back. And now, as we stand on the edge of 2026, it is time to make a decision that will define the trajectory of your life. The year ahead is not for chasing validation, not for clinging to what drains you, not for apologizing for your growth. It is the year to stand tall in your own power, to rise in alignment with your purpose, and to choose yourself above all else. Remember this, you were never created to be small, to shrink, or to dim your light for someone else's comfort. The moment you embrace your worth, the universe begins to conspire in your favor. Understand this truth clearly. Peace, success, and love are not found in the approval of others. They are found in the unwavering respect you hold for yourself. When you stop chasing people who do not value you, when you stop holding on to situations that no longer serve your growth, and when you stop allowing negativity to steal your energy, you open the door for miracles. Because the world responds to energy, and when your energy vibrates with confidence, clarity, and purpose, doors that were once closed begin to open effortlessly. Let go of the illusion that closure comes from someone else. Closure comes from within. It comes from respecting yourself enough to walk away from what diminishes you. You don't need explanations, you don't need apologies, you don't need anyone else to validate your journey. As famous words remind us, you alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anyone. When you carry this truth in your heart, your steps become fearless, your decisions become unwavering, and your life becomes unstoppable. Silence will be your ally. Never underestimate its power. In a world filled with noise, reacting to every provocation, every criticism, every attempt to destabilize, you will only drain your energy. Instead, respond with calm, with grace, with strategic stillness. Let your growth speak louder than any words. Let your presence command respect. Remember, the quieter you become, the more you can hear. And in that quiet, you will find clarity, strength, and confidence beyond measure. Expect resistance. Expect people to be triggered by your evolution. But do not falter. The truth is, your growth will always make some people uncomfortable. Not because you are doing anything wrong, but because you are leveling up while they remain stagnant. Stand firm, stand proud, stand unshakable. Those who are meant to walk with you will rise with you. Those who are not will naturally fall away, and that is the blessing. As a powerful reminder, don't let someone else's ignorance, hate, drama, or negativity stop you from being the best version of yourself. Focus will be your foundation. Where attention goes, energy flows. The more you direct your focus toward your goals, your dreams, your self-improvement, and your peace, the more confident, capable, and unstoppable you become. Confidence is not built overnight, but it grows each time you commit, persist, and act despite fear. It is born in discipline, nurtured in consistency, and ignited by determination. In every small choice, every daily action, you are building the life you are meant to live. Attachment is the enemy of progress. Learn to release what no longer fits. Learn to prioritize alignment over familiarity. Life is a journey of evolution, not stagnation. Some will try to hold you back with guilt, criticism, or expectation. Release them. Rise above them. Choose alignment, not attachment. As the saying goes, sometimes letting things go is an act of far greater power than defending or hanging on. Your power lies in your ability to walk away with grace and keep moving forward toward your vision. So as 2026 unfolds, let it be your year of unapologetic self-love, unwavering focus, fearless growth, and powerful alignment. Let it be the year you finally understand that your life is yours to create, yours to design, and yours to live on your own terms. Be relentless in pursuing your purpose, be courageous in releasing what no longer serves you, and be unstoppable in choosing yourself every single day. Remember always, your time is now. Your life is now. Your power is now. Stand in your truth. Shine in your light. Step forward with courage. Walk with purpose. Speak with intention. And never forget, the greatest victories in life come not from what the world gives you, but from the strength, clarity, and love you cultivate within yourself.